Good afternoon, my name is Ronnie Fullen. I'm a United States Navy submariner. I came to get your CDL quick to get my CDL for the Navy. After I get done with my duty station in Connecticut, I'm moving to Bangor, Washington to drive stuff I can't talk about. So I had to get my Class A CDL. Mr. Billy had told me about coming up here to Paris, that they are much fairer and much easier to work with. Absolutely, that is an understatement. They are awesome.
Yeah. Tell about your experience on backing.
So my straight backing and my offset backing were pretty A-okay. At the schoolhouse, I did my parallel parking like it was nothing. I came here and I guess my nerves got to me, or the tractor's a little bit longer than what it is there, and it completely messed me up. Normally, they tell you don't run over the cones, but I was out of bounds in 2 different spots. So the inspector told me I've got one of 2 choices. I can back up and run over the cones there, or I can pull forward and run over the cones there. I was so far out of bounds in the back, I was like, I'm just gonna pull forward. It'd make my life easier and back right in. And it worked.
And just FYI, that would never happen at a different DPS. An examiner would never give you advice on how to pass the backing. They're not going to tell you anything, and that was priceless that he gave you that information.
It was absolutely awesome. And I loved it.
Tommy was wonderful. How did the pre-trip go with you? Did you stumble on anything, or was it all just, flowing to you just like in class whenever you were learning it? So I know you did good on the air brake test with me.
Yes, ma'am. When I got here, I was real not so good with the C card. That was my weakest area, and of course I drew the C card. I was getting through it pretty A-okay, and right about the time it was time for me to get inside the cab, I missed a few items. My emergency equipment, I completely missed it.
Oh.
He said absolutely nothing about it, which is awesome. After I got done with my road test, I was pulling in and I was like, oh my Jesus, I missed stuff, no! Of course I didn't say it out loud, but in my head it was, ugh.
But he had already let you pass pre-trip, so
he had already let me pass everything.
That's amazing. That is so good. Well, so you are a torpedo operator in a submarine, is that right?
I'm a torpedoman, which essentially translates over into I'm a weapons technician.
Okay.
I work with guns, torpedoes, missiles. If it has anything to do with the bullet, I control it.
Okay. Well, so one thing that we like to do is get testimonials from people to help them in making decisions for their future. And Billy is really good about trying to encourage people to go into the National Guard or the military. Is that something that you are also, wanting to promote, that it's a good move that you made and you're thankful you did it, and that this is just even enhancing your career even further?
I would say it's definitely a one-stop shop for everything you can get, including schools, CDL, trade schools, anything you can think of, certifications. The military will pay for it.
And how long do you have left? Like, are you enlisted for like 4 years?
I enlisted for 5.
Okay.
I've been in 7.
Oh, wow.
May will be 8 years that I've been in.
So it's a career, and you enjoy
Yes, ma'am.
it. That's wonderful.
I currently have a baby on the way.
Okay.
So
congratulations.
I'm sticking it out the 20 years,
Okay.
maybe even longer.
Okay, and then you'll have that retirement,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then you'll have these other careers, skills behind you, because you said you're a mechanic also.
Yes, ma'am.
So you could go be a diesel mechanic, or truck driver, own your own business. You could own your own fleet and service them, road service, anything.
My plan is once I retire from the Navy, I'm going to move back to the East Coast. probably somewhere down in southern Florida, and hook up with a trucking company that hauls explosive material for the military.
Okay, those are good contracts to get.
They are very good contracts to get, but they are very hard to get.
Very hard, yes. And all of the clearances you have to get are very crucial. You know, that's the TWIC card, and then I can't remember all the other ones. There's a lot of different you know, clearances that they make you have in order to be able to haul for the government. So that will be a very lucrative path to take right there. Right now you live in Madisonville, right?
Yes, ma'am. Well, my home of address is Madisonville. But I'm currently stationed in Groton, Connecticut.
Okay.
It's way up north.
Right.
I don't like it.
I don't know that. I think that might be one state I've never been to, is Connecticut. I may have been through there, but I don't remember.
The state itself is fine. The people are horrendous.
Really?
My son, he is autistic, and he gets treated like a piece of dog crap.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's been very hard for me not going to jail over that, because I'm very protective over my family.
Right.
But other than that, yes, I would say military is definitely something that right out of high school you should look into. If you do go to college, get your degree before you even think about going in the military. Because if you get your degree, you can come in as an officer, and that's more money.
Okay, this is great information too. Very helpful.
More money. Yeah. Who doesn't love money?
Right. Exactly. So tell us about whenever you came to class. Did you do the 3-day?
Yes, ma'am. I did the 3-day.
Were you freaked out the first day?
I wasn't really freaked out. I was definitely a little nervous, because they started going over all the parts and pieces and nomenclature that I'm not used to.
Right.
Me being, you know, a kind of shade tree mechanic, I know the different parts and pieces at different names.
So you just knew in your mind, this has got to be really hard for that person that doesn't know anything about parts.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you knew the parts.
I knew what got me tongue twisted was learning the DPS nomenclature.
Right.
Yes. That's what got me tongue twisted. So if you are a shade tree mechanic or a mechanic of any kind, and wanting to get your CDL, definitely look up the DPS nomenclature for all your parts and pieces. It will help you out tremendously.
Okay.
I stayed awake for 2 days trying to learn these parts and pieces.
And you passed the first time.
I did pass the first time, but honestly, I think that's because I came to Paris.
I'm not going to dispute that, because I've seen so many times where they really are so fair that they know if you're just nervous, and if you really know what you're talking about, that you just got nervous. I think that they're very fair, and that they can distinguish that, and they do let people slide sometimes whenever they know that they know what they're talking about. They just said something jumbled because they're nervous. You know, I've had them even stop people and say, I know you're nervous, just take a breath, you know, and calm down, and then try to say it in your own way, you know, and then they ended up, you know, passing and being fine.
This is another piece of advice that or thought process I guess I would put out. Me being in the military, I get inspected all the time. You know, by my CO, by admirals, by a number of people. Even coming here, knowing that there's really not much they can say to me that's gonna put me down, I'm still nervous. Still really nervous. I stood here, I sat in my car, and my hands were just doing this number the entire time. I showed up here at 6 o'clock this morning, and my appointment wasn't until 1:30. And that's something I never do. I'll show up 1-2 hours early, sure. Almost 6-7 hours early.
But you studied all day, though, I bet.
I studied the entire time I was here. And the amount of water bottles that I went through because I was so nervous is insane. I went through almost an entire case of water.
Oh my goodness! Wow. But it paid off.
It did. It paid off. And once I got in the truck, I knew, all right, so let me sit here for a second. I got this. Open up my eyes, put my hands on the wheel. Step out of it. You got this.
Yep, you did it.
And sure enough, I did it.
You
And
did it.
it's something that y'all can all take to heart. If you come to Paris, most of the time, you'll get it.
Right. And one other thing I want to ask you, okay, so your background as a child is that you have hauled horses and cows,
Yes,
and done farm work and stuff for your family. Do you feel like when you found out that you needed to get a CDL, you were just like, oh, no problem? Or do you did you already know you were going to get a CDL before you ever even went into the military?
I knew I was going to get my CDL before I even knew I was going to get in.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't know if I was going to get it while I was in the military, before or after I got out. A lot of the people in my family have CDLs.
Mm-hmm.
Most of theirs are Class Bs though. They drive school buses.
Okay.
Now, it did help me out a little bit as far as confidence goes,
Mm-hmm.
but hauling gooseneck horse trailers and cattle trailers and flatbed trailers, it drives different than a fifth wheel.
Very much so. I
Drives
hear you.
way
I've got the
different.
same background, and it's very different.
If you've ever pulled a bumper pull, like Missy was saying earlier to me, the trailer follows your truck much like a bumper pull instead of a gooseneck.
Mm-hmm.
So take that to mind.
So that helps too, because people that are intimidated by the big truck shouldn't be if they can back a boat,
Yes, ma'am.
or if they can back a jet ski, or even a little U-Haul trailer, or any kind of utility trailer. That's all they need to practice on to be able to back these box trailers that are with a fifth wheel, because
ma'am.
that's what it feels like.
Absolutely.
And it moves fast. And so so definitely you've given some great advice to so many people, and we're going to be posting this to help especially young men who have been raised in a farm environment. They should immediately, as soon as they turn 18, just go ahead and get it.
Yes, ma'am,
in my
absolutely.
opinion. And I think that you can help reaffirm that. In that way, this is going to help as a testimonial, because you've been there and now you see that it is something that's required in your career that's going to help you make more money also.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, but we are so thankful that you came to us and found us. And how did you find us, by the way?
Funny story. My mom is friends with somebody down in Conroe that had y'all's number.
Okay.
That told my mom, hey, you need to call these people and get it set up like now. And I was like, I don't know that I can afford a school. I can't.
Yeah.
Just with my pay grade in the Navy, I can't afford much.
Okay.
And whenever Miss Jamie called me and said, hey, we can set up a payment plan. Perfect. Thank you absolutely so much.
That did it.
It lifted an enormous weight off my shoulders and helped me concentrate on what I needed to do.
Right. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Well, I'm so thankful, and we really, really wish you the best, and are so proud that you're one of our customers and that you passed the first time, and that I can get this testimonial from you, because this is what's going to help other people make their decision, especially in, whether they do a 3-day, or whether or not they're even going to be capable of pulling a trailer, or whether or not they're going to upgrade to Paris. All of those are yes, yes, yes. Just do it, and don't put it off any longer while we're able to, help you get it. And I'm so thankful you found us, and good luck to you, and,
Yes, ma'am.
and good
Thank
luck
you.
with your new baby.
Thank you.